Hey, so today we're going to talk about tracking your progress in the gym. So there are a couple of different ways I like to do this, particularly with clients. I get them to use an app. It's called Trainerize. On that app, I can upload all their programs. I can put it into a workout calendar for them. I can put all their nutrition and everything. So when they go into the gym, all they have to do is open up the app. They see the exercise, they see their sets, they see their reps, and then they can enter the weight they're lifting, and then they've got a notes section. Now I get them to do that so that each week when they then go back into that same program, everything's automatically there and it tells them this is the weight you're lifting, you know, maybe try and increase here, etc, etc. And then when they start hitting PBs or PRs, I get a notification to tell me this person's doing really well, they've lifted more weight in this area, and then together we can say, look at your progress. This is your numbers moving up in this fashion, and we can keep on top of things. We know when to put in deloads, we can make sure everything's running smoothly. Now that's for my clients, but how do I do it for myself? I'm good old pen and paper. I don't like taking my phone into the gym where possible, unless it's for a selfie. So because of that, I like to write everything out on paper. My coach gave me this little book, so it's great to use. What I do is on week 1, I go through my training plan that I've been set out, and I write down all my exercises, I write down all my reps, and I write down my initial starting weight that I think I'll be about. And then I use each week that first session to figure out if the weight I've anticipated is right. And if it's not, then how to figure it out is I work through the reps and gauge based on feel where I should be lifting. Now, I've got quite a few years experience at doing this, so for me that's slightly easier, and for you that's maybe where you need to find a coach or a personal trainer to take you through your sessions to help you identify what is the right weight you should be lifting. After week 1, I go into week 2, and by now I've identified the starting weight that I need for those reps, and where I should be working at what intensity. So on week 2, I have 2 decisions. I'm either going to increase the weight to hit the same number of reps, or I am, by my last set, if I've not increased the weight, I'm going to push out a few more reps to see if I can. So a really good example of this would be currently on my bench barbell glute bridge. I was doing 6 reps at 120. By the 3rd set, I knew that I could probably have went up. So what I done was I pushed out another 2 reps. So I managed 8 reps at 120. That tells me that next time I go in to do the bench barbell glute bridge, I need to up the weight, so I'll probably put it to about 130 and see if I make all 6 reps. And how I've noted that on here is I've just put a little arrow telling me to go up, at the end of that last set. And then when I went on to my volume set, all I've done there is drop the weight to 105 for 12 reps. So that tells me that I can definitely go heavier on my 6 if I can do 105 for 12. Another one that is good to point out, my kind of how I track it, is looking at wide grip barbell stiff leg deadlift. So on the first week, I went a little bit too heavy. I thought I could do 60 for 6. And I smashed that. I thought it was easy, so I ramped the bar up to 80. Now I made 6 on that 80, but then on the next set I only made 3, so that told me I'd made a bit of a rookie error and that I would need to go lighter. So this week when I completed that, I worked in all 3 working sets at 70 kilos, and I just got all the reps in and I got it finished, and it felt much better to get all the reps in at that weight and get the full amount of volume rather than missing reps and going too heavy, losing form and falling back. The last one that I'm going to talk about is pushing out extra reps. So a good example is my dumbbell 1-arm row. So for 8 reps I started at 22.5. I then realised I could do 25, so I upped it. And then because of that, it meant my finishing weight, which was 17.5, I knew I'd probably be able to do more than the 12 reps, and I could. I managed to squeeze out 15. So for me, it tells me that my working range, if I possibly started my 25 in my first set, I might not have made the 15 at the 17.5, or I might still have, and therefore my 12 rep weight could go up to 20 as well. Now I know that's a lot of numbers and it's a lot of mumble jumble, and for some of you, you'll be thinking, what, this makes no sense. That's okay. Once you get used to doing it, it will start to make sense. What all I want you to take away from this is that you need to write down your numbers and you need to keep track of your progress. There's no point in just writing it all out one week, going back in the next week and forgetting about what you just done the week before. Keep on top of it. Translate that information across, and then that next week work from that start point. So where were your best numbers and how can you increase? If you physically can't lift anymore, or if the next weight up is too big, that's where your option to pull out an extra few reps in your last round comes. But if you're finding that you can do extra reps, you know, really easily, and rather than an 8 to 10 rep range, you can hit 12 to 15 consistently, you need to push for that extra weight. Sometimes hitting the 8 reps rather than the 10 can be more beneficial if you're able to shift more load. It's not all about volume, okay? Yeah, volume is good and getting the reps in is fantastic, but sometimes you've got to challenge the muscles in order to get them to grow and to build strength, so that soon enough your volume strength will go up. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please ask me some questions, get in touch. Yeah, write out your workouts, keep on top of it. Always try and push heavier. If you really can't push heavier, push out an extra few reps. Never fall short on reps. Capiche?